Captain Alina Reyes stood at the observation deck of the Earth exploration vessel Pathfinder, watching the stars streak by as they dropped out of FTL. Humanity had been exploring the stars for merely 3 decades, still toddlers in the cosmic playground. The Pathfinder was Earth's most advanced ship, equipped with the latest jump drive technology that had finally allowed humans to reach beyond their neighboring star systems. "Captain, we're picking up unusual energy signatures from the 4th planet in this system," Lieutenant Park reported, his eyes fixed on the sensor displays. "Definitely artificial and unlike anything in our database." Alina's heart quickened. After 6 months of exploring empty star systems, they might have finally found evidence of alien civilization. "Bring us into orbit, but maintain stealth protocols. Let's see what we're dealing with before making ourselves known." The Pathfinder glided silently into orbit around a rust-colored planet. The view screen magnified to reveal a sprawling complex on the surface. Angular structures of gleaming metal that reflected the light of the distant sun. "It appears to be some kind of outpost," Dr. Abrams, their xenobiologist, said as she analyzed the readings. "There's life down there, but the biosignatures are nothing like Earth's." Alina made her decision. Prepare a first contact package. If there's an advanced civilization here, we need to introduce ourselves properly. What they didn't know was that they had stumbled upon the edge of the HFY Empire, a species that had conquered hundreds of worlds across their region of the galaxy over millennia. The HFY had never encountered humans before, but they had a consistent approach to new species: assessment, subjugation, and integration into their hierarchical empire. 3 hours after sending the first contact message, the Pathfinder's communications array lit up. "Captain, we're receiving a response." Communications Officer Chen couldn't hide his excitement. "They're transmitting visual data." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, slender figure with iridescent scaled skin and 6 eyes arranged in a hexagonal pattern. The being wore ornate armor that seemed to pulse with energy. "I am Sovereign Executor Zexcalter of the HFY Dominion," the alien said, its voice translated through the ship's eye. "Your presence has been noted, human vessel. You have entered territory claimed by the Eternal Empire." Alina stepped forward. "I am Captain Alina Reyes of the Earth exploration vessel Pathfinder. We come with peaceful intentions and seek only knowledge and friendship among the stars." The 6 eyes blinked in sequence. "Peace is compliance. Your species is unknown to us. You will submit to evaluation to determine your place in the Dominion hierarchy." A cold feeling settled in Alina's stomach. "With respect, Sovereign Executor, we are not seeking to join any Dominion. We represent an independent world exploring the galaxy." "Independence is inefficiency," Zexcalter replied without emotion. "The HFY bring order to chaos. Your technological capabilities suggest your species has potential for service. You will transmit your star charts and prepare for evaluation." Alina glanced at her senior officers, who shared her concern. "We need time to consult with our government. This is first contact for us, a momentous occasion. You have 1 orbital cycle of this planet to transmit your surrender coordinates. Refusal will be considered hostile action." The transmission ended abruptly. "Well, that didn't go as hoped," Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez, the tactical officer, muttered. Alina's jaw tightened. "Send everything we've gathered to Earth immediately. I have a feeling we've stumbled into something much bigger than an isolated outpost." Within hours, 3 massive HFY warships emerged from FTL near the planet. Each was at least 5 times the size of the Pathfinder, with designs that suggested weaponry far beyond Earth's capabilities. "They're scanning us," Captain Park reported tensely. "Their energy readings are off the charts." Alina made a quick decision. "Break orbit. Get us out of here. Maximum FTL toward Earth. We need to warn everyone." As the Pathfinder accelerated away, one of the HFY ships fired a warning shot, a beam of coruscating energy that purposely missed them by mere kilometers, but was powerful enough to disrupt their sensors. "They could have destroyed us," Rodriguez noted, checking the weapons analysis. That was a demonstration. The Pathfinder escaped into FTL, racing back to Earth with its alarming news. 3 weeks later, Elena stood before the United Earth Defense Council, explaining what they had encountered. Based on the data we gathered, the Karathi have technology centuries ahead of ours, she explained to the grim-faced officials. But there's something else we noticed. Something Dr. Abrams identified when analyzing their communications. Dr. Abrams stepped forward. The Exarethi language, ship movements, even their biological readings suggest an extreme adherence to patterns. Everything they do follows precise mathematical sequences. They value order above all else. It's embedded in their psychology and their technology. General Santos, head of Earth Defense, leaned forward. Are you suggesting this could be a weakness? Potentially, Elena replied. They appear to lack adaptability. Their superiority comes from advanced technology, not innovative thinking. The meeting was interrupted by an emergency alert. A fleet of Exarethi ships had been detected at the edge of the solar system. 50 vessels approaching Earth in perfect formation. Humanity had run out of time. Over the next 2 days, the Exarethi fleet moved methodically toward Earth, ignoring all attempts at communication. Earth's combined defense fleet, 300 ships of various sizes, hastily armed with the best weapons humanity could produce, moved to intercept them near the orbit of Mars. Admiral Cheng, commanding Earth's forces from the flagship Defender, opened a channel that reached all ships. This is it, people. We're outmatched in technology, but not in spirit. Remember, humanity has faced extinction-level threats before, from nature, from ourselves. Each time, we've survived through ingenuity and determination. Today is no different. The Exarethi struck first, their ships moving in precisely coordinated patterns that allowed them to concentrate fire on Earth's largest vessels. 3 destroyers were vaporized in the first assault. They're targeting our command ships first, Elena observed, now serving as tactical advisor on the Defender. Look at their formation. It's mathematically perfect. Admiral Cheng nodded grimly. Too perfect, too predictable. He opened the fleet-wide channel again. All ships, abandon formation. I repeat, abandon all standard engagement protocols. Attack individually, unpredictably. Use your human instinct. It was chaos. Beautiful human chaos. Earth ships broke formation, attacking from all angles, using debris and the Martian moons for cover, employing suicide runs that veered away at the last second. The Exarethi fleet's perfect formation became a liability as they struggled to respond to attacks that followed no discernible pattern. They're confused, Elena said, watching the tactical display. Their ships are hesitating between targets. A young programmer named Mayalai approached them with an idea. Sir, I've been analyzing their communication patterns. They use quantum-encrypted signals, but they follow strict algorithms. If we broadcast noise on all frequencies that mimics their communication structure but contains random elements, we could disrupt their coordination. Cheng finished. Do it. The electronic warfare worked even better than expected. Several Exarethi ships began firing on each other, their systems confused by the contradictory commands. For the first time, the alien fleet's formation broke apart. But the celebration was short-lived. The largest Exarethi vessel, the command ship, launched a devastating counterattack, destroying 20 human vessels in rapid succession. They're adapting, Elena realized with growing dread. Slowly, but they're learning. In the midst of the battle, a strange thing happened. 3 Exarethi ships suddenly broke away from their fleet and began attacking their own kind. Confused communications flooded the channels. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from one of those rebel Exarethi ships, Communications Officer Chen reported. The screen showed a different Exarethi, smaller, with 4 eyes instead of 6. Human defenders, I am Sub-Commander Velix of the Liberation Front. Not all of Exarethi believe in the Dominion's ways. We have been waiting for a species that could challenge the Sovereign's power. We offer our assistance." It was the opening humanity needed, with the rebel Xerathi providing crucial intelligence about the fleet's weaknesses. Earth's forces concentrated their attack on the command ship's propulsion systems. Hours later, the battle turned. 7 Xerathi ships had been destroyed, and 3 more had surrendered to the rebels. The remaining enemy vessels retreated to the outer system, regrouping around their damaged command ship. In the brief respite, Alina studied the data from the captured Xerathi vessels. "Admiral, I think I understand why they're so fixated on order. Their history shows they evolved on a planet with extreme environmental fluctuations. Their society developed by creating perfect predictability to survive. Predictability that became stagnation," Admiral Cheng noted. "What's your recommendation, Captain?" Elena looked up from the display, determination in her eyes. "We need to show them that chaos isn't something to fear. It's something that drives evolution and progress. And we need to use that same chaos to win this war." The biggest revelation came when they accessed the Xerathi star charts. The Eternal Empire controlled over 200 star systems, with dozens of subjugated alien species serving as laborers, soldiers, and resources. "They've been conquering methodically for thousands of years," Dr. Abrams said in horror. "Each species categorized and assigned roles based on their capabilities." Elena studied the maps and saw humanity's path forward. "If we can liberate even a few of these species, we could create a coalition. The Xerathi maintain control through perfect order. Let's give the galaxy some creative chaos." As the damaged Xerathi fleet retreated from Earth, humanity prepared for something they hadn't anticipated when they first ventured to the stars. Not just defending their world, but potentially liberating a section of the galaxy from an empire built on rigid order and subjugation. The first battle had been won, but the war was just beginning. The question remained, could humanity's greatest strength, its unpredictability and adaptive thinking, overcome an empire built on perfect, immutable order? 6 months after the Battle of Mars, humanity had transformed. Earth's shipyards worked around the clock, incorporating captured Xerathi technology with human innovation. The result was a new class of vessels that combined alien power with unpredictable human design philosophy. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the Defiance, Earth's first hybrid warship. Built around a captured Xerathi engine core, it featured weapon systems that could rapidly reconfigure, making them impossible for pattern recognition algorithms to predict. "All systems operational, Captain," Lieutenant Park reported. He'd followed Elena from the Pathfinder to this new assignment. "The quantum disruptors are online, and the adaptive shields are responding better than expected." "Good," Elena replied, "because we're going to need every advantage." She turned to the tactical display showing their target. Vega Prime, a mining world at the edge of Xerathi space, where thousands of Palaxian slaves worked under harsh conditions. The liberation of Vega Prime would be humanity's first strike beyond their solar system, the beginning of Operation Wildcard. The plan wasn't just to win a battle, but to spark rebellion throughout the rigid Xerathi hierarchy. "Fleet reports ready, Captain," Communications Officer Chen announced. Admiral Cheng gives the green light. Elena nodded. "Signal all ships. Jump on my mark." She took a breath. Mark. 27 human vessels, accompanied by 5 rebel Xerathi ships, tore open space with their FTL drives, emerging directly above the Xerathi mining facilities on Vega Prime. The element of surprise was complete. The defensive stations didn't activate until the first volley of weapons fire disabled their communications arrays. "Target their pattern recognition systems first," Elena ordered, implementing the strategy they had developed. "Then hit their quantum communication nodes. Isolate them from the hive mind." Unlike traditional military forces, Earth ships attacked with deliberate randomness, some targeting defense platforms, others hitting power generators, while a few performed elaborate maneuvers that made no tactical sense, but served to confuse Xerathi prediction systems. The Defiance led a squadron directly to the main control facility. Elena had studied the Palaxians, 4 armed humanoids with extraordinary strength who had been enslaved for centuries to mine the planet's rare minerals. Broadcast on all frequencies, Alina commanded. Include the liberation message in the Palaxian language. Chen nodded. Broadcasting. People of Vega Prime, this is Captain Alina Reyes of Earth. We have come to break your chains. The Exarathi Order is not invincible. Join us and reclaim your freedom. On the surface, confusion turned to uprising. The Palaxians, inspired by the unprecedented attack, turned on their overseers. Mining equipment became weapons as centuries of suppressed rage erupted across the planet's facilities. Captain, we're detecting a Xarathi battle group emerging from FTL, Rodriguez warned. 5 heavy cruisers, standard Dominion formation. Alina smiled. Exactly as our intelligence suggested. Implement Chaos Protocol 3. The human fleet, instead of forming a defensive position, scattered in seemingly random directions. Some ships accelerated toward the incoming Xarathi vessels, others performed intricate loops, while a few appeared to flee only to double back at unexpected angles. The Xarathi commander, Executor Thex Corvin, watched in confusion as his perfectly calculated interception maneuver fell apart. His ships, designed to counter conventional military formations, couldn't adjust quickly enough to the unpredictable human movements. Target the lead vessel, Alina ordered as the Defiant swung around behind a Xarathi formation. Fire quantum disruptors followed by conventional torpedoes, the pattern we discussed. The disruptors didn't cause physical damage, but scrambled the Xarathi ship's highly ordered computer systems. The torpedoes that followed struck hulls suddenly vulnerable without their predictive defense algorithms. Within 30 minutes, 3 Xarathi cruisers were disabled. 1 was destroyed, and the 5th retreated into FTL. On the planet below, the Palaxian uprising had succeeded in capturing the main control facilities. The liberation of Vega Prime became a symbol that spread rapidly through the subjugated worlds. The Xarathi, who had maintained control partly through the myth of their invincibility, suddenly appeared vulnerable. This is just the beginning, Alina told her crew as they prepared to welcome Palaxian leaders aboard. We've proven that humanity's chaotic approach can defeat even their most advanced technology. News of the Vega Prime liberation traveled faster than the Xarathi could contain it. Using captured communication relays, Earth broadcast the victory across the Empire. More importantly, they shared the conceptual virus that was proving so potent, the idea that unpredictability was strength, not weakness. Over the next 3 months, 7 more subjugated species rose up against their Xarathi masters. Humanity provided support where they could, but their greatest contribution was tactical advice on how to fight asymmetrically against an enemy obsessed with order. The Palaxians proved to be powerful allies, their physical strength and newfound determination making them formidable warriors. The Kelvari, a species of brilliant scientists who had been forced to develop weapons for the Xarathi, provided crucial technological insights. The Duranti, natural pilots with reflexes 3 times faster than humans, enhanced the coalition's space combat capabilities. Each liberated world weakened the Xarathi Dominion and strengthened what was now being called the Free Species Alliance. Admiral Cheng coordinated the growing fleet from Earth, while Alina led many of the tactical operations in the field. But the Xarathi were adapting, albeit slowly. 6 months into the conflict, they began deploying new warships with more flexible combat systems, still fundamentally ordered, but with broader parameters that made them less vulnerable to chaotic tactics. The war escalated when the Xarathi deployed their dreadnought Eternal Order, a planet-killing weapon headed for Earth in a direct attempt to end the rebellion by destroying its source. It was the largest vessel anyone in the Alliance had ever seen, 20 kilometers long with weaponry that could crack a planet's crust. They're desperate, Alina observed during the emergency council meeting. They're abandoning their methodical conquest approach for a decisive strike. Can we stop something that size? Asked Tel, the Palaxian commander. Dr. Abrams, who had been studying Xarathi psychology, spoke up. The dreadnought represents their cultural psychology perfectly. Overwhelming force applied through absolute order. Its very design will be its weakness. The plan they developed was the most unconventional yet. Instead of confronting the dreadnought directly, the Alliance forces would attack the Xerathi homeworld itself. Not to destroy it, but to create the one thing that Xerathi feared most, unpredictable chaos at the heart of their civilization. We don't need to defeat their dreadnought, Alina explained. We need to make them recall it. And for that, we need to threaten something they value more than destroying Earth. The mission was called Operation Final Paradox. While most Alliance forces engaged the Xerathi fleet near Saturn, drawing their attention, a smaller strike team led by Alina aboard the Defiance would make a precision jump directly to the Xerathi throne world, Zexcalter Prime. This isn't about destruction. Alina briefed her mixed crew of humans and liberated species. This is psychological warfare. We're bringing chaos to the most ordered society in the galaxy. The jump was risky, navigating through heavily defended space using stolen access codes. But the Xerathi never imagined anyone would be bold enough, or irrational enough by their standards, to attack their capital directly. When the Defiance and its 7 escort ships emerged from FTL in orbit around Zexcalter Prime, the response was delayed by sheer disbelief. This violation of the sacred center of the Dominion was inconceivable. Broadcast on all frequencies, Alina ordered, visual and audio, directed at their central authority. The face of Sovereign Executor Zexcalter himself appeared on screen. His 6 eyes widened in what appeared to be the Xerathi equivalent of shock. Impossible, he stated. You cannot be here. Our predictive models gave this scenario 0 probability. Alina leaned forward. That's humanity's greatest strength, Sovereign Executor. We do the impossible. We thrive on defying predictions and breaking patterns. And right now, your dreadnought is heading to destroy our world while we stand above yours. You cannot prevail, Zexcalter responded, but there was a new tone in his translated voice. Uncertainty. Even now, our defensive systems are activating. We're not here to destroy your world, Alina said, surprising him further. Unlike the Xerathi, we don't believe order requires the elimination of difference. We're here to offer a choice. Recall your dreadnought and open negotiations with the Free Species Alliance, or we will release a quantum algorithm into your planetary systems that will randomize every ordered process on your world. It wasn't a bluff. The Kelveri scientists had developed a program that would introduce controlled chaos into the Xerathi systems, not destroying them, but making them operate in unpredictable ways that would be psychologically devastating to a species that equated order with survival. Such action would be barbaric, Zexcalter said. No, barbaric is enslaving dozens of species and destroying worlds that don't conform to your vision of perfect order, Alina countered. We're offering you the chance to evolve, to learn that the universe isn't meant to be perfectly ordered. It's meant to be diverse, adaptive, and yes, sometimes chaotic. As orbital defenses began firing on the Alliance ships, Alina issued one final warning. You have 1 hour to recall your dreadnought. After that, we deploy the Chaos Protocol. What Alina didn't expect was the transmission that came through on a secured channel 30 minutes later. It showed a different Xerathi, younger, with distinctive markings. Captain Rise, I am Sub-Sovereign Zexcalter. There are those among us who have studied your species with great interest. Your adaptability represents an evolutionary path we abandoned millennia ago in favor of perfect order. You're saying not all Xerathi think alike? Alina asked, intrigued. Our conformity is enforced, not natural, Zexcalter replied. Those of us who exhibit creativity or question the order are reconditioned. But your arrival has created opportunity. The Sovereign has entered emergency conclave. There is disagreement. For a species built on unanimous consensus, disagreement was revolutionary. When the hour deadline approached, The massive dreadnought heading for Earth suddenly dropped out of FTL and began returning to Xarathi space. Shortly after, a formal communication arrived from the Sovereign Conclave. The Eternal Dominion acknowledges the unpredicted capabilities of humanity and the alliance you have formed. The message read, "We propose cessation of hostilities and diplomatic dialogue." It wasn't surrender. The Xarathi psychology couldn't conceptualize such a thing, but it was the beginning of transformation. The most significant revelation came 3 days later when Vex Kaltar and a delegation of progressive asylum with the Alliance. Our society has maintained perfect order for 12,000 years, Vex Kaltar explained during the historic meeting aboard the Defiance. But in doing so, we ceased to evolve. Your species showed us that adaptability, even chaos, has evolutionary advantages we have forgotten. The war ended not with the destruction of either side, but with the Xarathi Dominion agreeing to release all subjugated worlds and enter into a period of cultural exchange with the Alliance. It was revealed that Sovereign Executor Vex Kaltar had been removed from power, the first leadership change in 2,000 years. 1 year later, Captain Elena Reyes, now Admiral Reyes, stood in the Great Hall of the newly constructed Galactic Cooperation Center on Luna. Around her were representatives of 27 formerly enslaved species and a delegation of new Xarathi who had embraced change. "We came to the stars seeking knowledge and friendship," she said in her address. "Instead, we found oppression and were forced to fight. But in the end, humanity's greatest weapon wasn't our technology or even our unpredictability. It was our fundamental belief that diversity creates strength, that different perspectives lead to innovation, and that freedom is the right of all sentient beings." Vex Kaltar, now the Xarathi representative to the Alliance, spoke next. "For millennia, we believed that perfect order was the pinnacle of evolution. Humanity taught us that true advancement comes from adaptation, from embracing the unknown rather than controlling it. We have much to learn from each other." As the ceremony concluded, Elena looked out at the Earth hanging in the lunar sky. Humanity had ventured into the stars as explorers and had been forced to become warriors. Now they were becoming something else. Teachers, showing a galaxy locked in stagnant order how beautiful and powerful chaos could be. "We warned them not to underestimate us," Dr. Abrams said, joining Elena at the viewport. "And now they're learning from us instead," Elena replied. "Maybe that's humanity's true purpose among the stars, not just to explore, but to introduce a little beneficial chaos wherever we go." Beyond the viewport, ships from 24 worlds moved in orbit, not in regimented patterns, but in a beautiful organic dance of cooperation. The galaxy was changing, one unpredictable step at a time.